Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the last two episodes of season 3. So, welcome to the third episode of season 3, The Journey Aiming Wrong or Right. As I have said before, in this season, I'll be talking to people who have opted for unorthodox and unconventional careers, pursued with all their efforts, and came out with something great, something amazing, something exemplary. So, let's not waste more time and start episode number 3. I have always heard examples of different people who have left their corporate jobs to pursue one of their hobbies and then achieve great success and happiness. Today's guest is one such a person. She has a knack for studies, yet she left her corporate job in Gurgaon and came back to her hometown to start her own cloud bakery, Piece of Pie. She was one of my seniors in school, and I'm so proud and happy to call her to my episode today. So let's not waste more time and welcome Neha Jalan. So hi Dee, how are you? How is
Hi,
everything
hi,
right
Sam.
now?
Everything is good, Samarth. You say?
Dee, would you like to give an introduction of yourself to our listeners?
Yes, yes. So this is Neha Jalan. I am the owner and chef of Piece of Pie. Piece of Pie is a cloud bakery, and we have been doing like eggless cakes and desserts, which are and our like primary motive is to keep it really premium and use all the good quality products and make it from the scratch. We don't use any preservatives in our desserts. So this is basically what we do on a daily basis. And apart from this, we also deal in various dessert hampers and and we also set up dessert tables.
So how is it going with
Yeah.
your whole cloud bakery, and how has the journey been for you till now?
A Piece of Pie, the journey, it's been great. It's been wonderful. Mm, yeah, so far so good. Mm.
So the highest number of orders, how much that has been for you? No?
The number of orders, it mostly happens in different occasions, like Diwali or Raksha Bandhan or something like that. So I remember doing a huge amount of work on Diwali, like Diwali 2019. Yes. So I don't remember the exact figure, but I think I completed near about 50 to 60 hampers in one day. So that was the largest.
How much time does it take to prepare one hamper, if you can add all the minutes and everything?
You really can't. You could call my poor estimation or whatever, but you really can't. Like one day it only takes for the baking to happen. The packaging
Okay.
happens overnight, and the
So
dispatch happens the next day. So
the
it's a
next
long
day.
process. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
I get
wholesome,
that.
and it takes a long time.
But I guess it's fun also if you do something you
Much
love.
fun. Like I really look forward to all the Diwali and Raksha Bandhan orders. It's my favorite time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a lot of things that you do, and I actually went through your whole menu. You have different varieties of desserts that you provide, and I was really confused with the things that you bake and everything. So when someone starts to do something like this, it's somewhere or the other a dream that they see somewhere and they start working upon. So I would really like to know, like, was this the dream, or you wanted to do something else in life?
This wasn't the dream. It was the dream in the sense that I never knew it could be translated into a business or an opportunity. I just knew this as a passion. So I never dreamt that I'll be a chef or a pastry chef or a baker someday. So my dream was to be independent and earn money, and I knew that I like to bake. So both the things were different for me, and I finally ended up being a chef. So that's another part of the story. But it wasn't a thing that I'll grow up and I'll become a chef like that.
Everyone wants to be independent, and this was somewhere or the other your interest or a hobby that you mixed up, and right now you're independent plus you're doing something that you love. It's really a privilege, to be honest, and somewhere I believe it's really nice.
Yeah, it's definitely a privilege, and I definitely think that I'm blessed that I had the opportunity to do something like this and I could take that step. So, yeah, blessed.
I believe your parents also support in the whole thing, and they're also happy and proud of what you're doing right now.
Yeah, totally. So, like, I was definitely into corporates and I just wanted to do something in studies and ace it through the typical way of acing and being independent. So, even my father and my like, my father primarily, he was really looking forward for me to be an actuary, but and he was a little apprehensive when I took this step, but it he never told me not to pursue it. He just wanted me to try all my ways, and he supposedly thought that I'll get back to it, but it didn't happen. And yeah, it's 2 years and he's really happy about it. Like, he really likes what I'm doing.
That's actually great, to be honest. It's when your parents are happy with what you do, it's a different feeling altogether. Like my father, when I told him
Yeah,
about about the whole thing that I am trying to do, or I'm trying to fulfill something,
do,
or
yeah,
work upon. So he was also happy that I have a different
yeah,
kind of idea to go for. So
idea.
that's really nice. Yes. So I guess I have heard the whole journey that you have had, but I believe the listeners would really like your whole story. So how did the idea about piece of pie come?
Um, like I've mentioned earlier a lot of times that I was into studies and I wanted to do something in that. So after my 12th got over, I thought to pursue actuarial science. So I went to Delhi University. Primary reason that I'll get a good coaching center and good facilities in terms of actuarial science only. Everything was planned according to actuarial science. I was doing statistics honors only because of that. And honestly, it was going quite good with all the graduation and everything. I cleared 4 papers and I was all set. Ki ab to will just I just want to grab a job and फिर सब कुछ अच्छा होगा and I'll be independent and then life is set. So in my head I'm just doing great. In my like parents and relatives opinion, I'm doing something even greater than what I was supposing it to be, because papers were getting cleared and it and it's a new concept. Like, actuarial science is new to many people abhi bhi. So they didn't know what exactly was it about, but they're just happy that I'm doing something new and acha. So I kept going ahead and I got over my graduation, and then I came back to Delhi. I started with my 5th paper. So alongside I got an offer. So it was a full-time internship kind of a thing, but more like a job, like a probation in a job. The similar thing. It was for 6 months, after which they would consider me as a permanent employee. So when I got my first job, like I like to say, I was so happy. It was in Gurgaon, and just without knowing all the troubles and all the problems it would bring, I just wanted to do it like anyhow. So first day began, and the first month was really good. Like, it was really hectic for me to travel and everything and manage different thing, but it was going good. But gradually I just started to like realize ki okay, this schedule, it's pretty fucked up, like if we're allowed to say, like it's really tough. There are no vacations, there are no holidays, you don't get to go back to your house, like I never came home more than 4 to 5 days. Like usme bhi there used to be pay cuts and everything. So and like कोई holiday का छुट्टी and then Saturday Sunday सब पैक करके 5 days maximum. So I just like the thought that this will go on forever. It was very scary कि I can't do this all my life, especially staying away from where I belong and staying alone. So first that was a major hit, and then the lifestyle and the routine, it was getting so boring for me. Like I it wouldn't make me very creative or very. So I just realized that it's getting monotonous thoda thoda mere liye. So one weekend I just thought I'd do something different. Like I'll try something new, do something which is of my hobby, so that it makes me feel good like throughout. So I saw this baking program somewhere, like on Instagram, and I really liked it. Like everything looked great. So one Sunday I just went there and I enjoyed myself thoroughly. And I was just fantasizing that what if my job was related to this? It would be so much fun. But I couldn't see that happening. I couldn't even think that I would be there. I just thought no, like it's way apart of what I have done yet, so it's not possible. So the job continued. It was in Gurgaon and I did not like the place at all. So it got pretty tough, and by the end of 6 months I just realized that this is not happening for me. Something is off, like either the actuarial science or the area or the job profile. So I just had to take a break. I came back to Guwahati, and after coming back to Guwahati, I was still giving interviews of different places, because in my heart I just wanted to leave everything aside, but I couldn't do it because
Good.
so much has happened already. I've spent my 4 years into this. I have Delhi was the primary reason for me. Delhi, like I went to Delhi because of this. So I couldn't think to end this so easily. So I just kept giving my interviews, telephonic interviews, and everything kept happening, but something wasn't clicking each time. I was good in studies, I cleared all the papers, but the interviews didn't go right. I don't know why. And so since I was in Guwahati and a little free, I decided I'll I'll do something with the baking, because I had taken the course like one session earlier, and I used to bake since a long, since I was very small. So I started baking and everybody loved it, like really, really loved it. So the entire staying at home session was making me mad, and my sister suggested that I should take up a small workshop for kids, which would involve a few things to bake, and it would be a nice fun session. So I did that, and I realized that I want to do this. Like I really, really wanted to do this. And after that I just started taking petty orders, like from all the relatives and friends, which gave me more confidence and belief that I could really pursue this. After that, I remember going back to Delhi for for my professional course in baking, and to my surprise, my father just agreed on it. He just thought that I'm just doing it for my just to distract myself. He thought that I'll just do it. उसके बाद कोई बात नहीं, आके फिर जॉब वॉब मिलेगी, I'll leave, कोई बात नहीं, कर लेने दो. So it was even that was very tough, because in only 2 days I decided to leave the city and just go for the training and stuff. So I did that, and by the end of that training I even fetched one of the jobs, like it was in Chennai. तो साइमल्टेनियसली इंटरव्यू भी हो रहा था और ट्रेनिंग भी हो रही थी. तो जब ट्रेनिंग ओवर हुई, देन if I got the offer letter from one of the companies in Chennai, and luckily I don't know what it was. I just knew that I can't I won't be accepting it. Like it wasn't negotiable for me. So I just decided to drop that, and I came back Guwahati, and then I started it full fledgedly, and there was no turning back uske baad.
So this is the whole story of Piece of Pie
Yeah.
starting. Actually, very, when I used to hear different kinds of stories from people, they used to say that हाँ कोई ऐसा point आ गया था जहाँ पे choosing वाला pattern आ गया था. Like you have to do this or this. You can't go for the both. You can't have your both legs in different parts of the boat.
True.
So it was just it's very inspiring somewhere or the other. Some people are really stuck at that situation right now. It not maybe baking, or it can be anything related to any
Anything.
other hobby or interest, and you took the path, you worked hard on it, and you are somewhere where you are earning, and where you are independent and where you're enjoying. That's the main thing. People right now, they suck at happiness. They suck at being that happy with what they are doing, even though they have they are earning around 3-4 lakhs a month. They are still not happy about anything,
Unhappy,
and they still
yeah.
want to do something else. So this is really nice to hear that you got the chance to do something that you love, and you are making something
Yeah.
great out of it.
Actually, like Samarth, I'll tell you one thing, that when you are in that position, even after knowing that you don't want to do this, you don't really understand what's happening, and you need someone really someone, you need someone to tell you this. And with someone, I don't mean your friends or your parents or somebody who cares about you. No, like, you don't want to hear this from them, because you know that their opinions are biased. They love you, and they'll tell you things that will make you feel comfortable. You want to hear the truth. So for me, this thing happened when one of my colleagues, like we were just colleagues, and he was in my office, and when he told me about this, that he just said me this line, that you just have to choose your happiness. Some people might find peace in this, but he just told me that, and it's okay to just leave something which is comfortable, to opt for something that will make you even more comfortable later. Like, it's just because of that small step. If you're not making that transition, you'll regret it later. Like, not even regret, you won't be in a position to make that transition later. So that will make it even more uncomfortable. So when my colleague told me this, then I realized that maybe it's time to do something different. Like, just try it out at least.
Get out of your comfort zone and just give it a
True,
shot.
yeah.
Kiki, yeah, somewhere or the other, you're saying that you cleared 5 papers already. So somewhere you would have gotten an opportunity later on. Also, you could take the risk, and the risk was right now it's
Of
worth it.
course, like
It's
that
right.
was the time when I cleared the 5 papers and the graduation got over. That was the time that I could avail opportunities. Like it wasn't late for me कि opportunities नहीं मिल रही थी. I knew that there is more to come, and there will be more opportunities, and the pressure was real. Like, all my friends, all my father, and everybody, they had a genuine question to me कि इतने साल करके अब क्यों छोड़ना है. Like,
Sorry.
मतलब थोड़ा तो और ट्राई करो. ये चीज, दे टोल्ड मी दिस, बट when you know something is not right, you'll know it in your heart, and you just have to act upon it.
Yeah, that's true. That's 100% true. When I started the podcast, it was something for me as well. I like to talk about things, but I didn't have anyone to talk about,
Right.
different kinds of topics or anything that I want to talk about. So I was like, I got to, see a lot of different kinds of podcasters that have been coming up with their own niche. And then I was like, I want to do this. I want to do it
this,
anyhow.
yeah.
And I just went for it. and it went great. There are people who have loved it. There are people who have contacted me out of the blue to do something different, do something new. It has been an amazing thing, and
Great,
that's the
no?
same thing for you. Yeah, you know, I guess you have had these kinds of amazing feedbacks from people, which make you so overwhelmed and happy that yes, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, like as I told you initially that I didn't know that this line of business or passion has an opportunity to be translated into money in such terms, because at the end of the day we just want to survive through it. You can't be dependent on it just as a passion. Like I, as I said, I just wanted to be independent, so I just wanted to do something big, like either in corporate or otherwise. So when I started with this, I definitely had a plan B in mind. I made my peace that if this doesn't work out, or if this doesn't lead to anywhere else, I'll do something and I'll get back to the corporates. I knew that. But when I started and the kind of response I got, and it just happened with the flow. And you wouldn't, unless you try, you wouldn't know the kind of reactions, the feedbacks, and the support that you'll receive. So yeah, that's the reason that piece of pie is here. Like otherwise there's always a point where you just want to leave it and go back to where it was.
True. So if you get those types of support and the feedback that pushes you to do more and do better every day. So I believe in
Of
that totally.
course, yeah, yeah.
So my next question is like to you is that pandemic has been very difficult for a lot of people. It has been very life changing for a lot of people.
For a lot
Like
of
me,
people, true.
it changed my life totally. I started in the pandemic, and I am talking to you right now about the whole thing. I didn't know that I will be doing something like this. So yeah, it was good for me for a bit of it, and I have actually talked to a lot of people for whom their life totally changed because of the pandemic in a good way or a bad way. So I would really like to know how the pandemic treated you, how it was, how different was it from the normal that was
Mhm.
before, the pandemic.
Yeah, like if you talk about a business point of view and the monetary perspective, yes, it wasn't great, and it wasn't great for anybody. So leaving that aside, I think pandemic, the entire time, it was great for me because it really gave me time to reconcile and to think what can be done and what's really happening. Like how is life without piece of pie, or like uh, what are the things that can that can make the business go down, or like that can be a just say, like the pandemic happened and everything stopped. So this affected everybody, but there could be some things that would only affect my business, like maybe. So you just get time to think about those things. And my biggest advantage was that there are a few bakers that I adore, like from different cities. Like there are many bakers whom I love, and I would have loved to learn something or the other from them, but it wasn't feasible for me to travel the city and learn it like that, like just go for one class, or it wouldn't work like that. You could like you could plan it in your head, but it wouldn't ever be a success, I know. So it gave us immense opportunity that online classes happened, and I enjoyed my workshops. Like instead of providing one, I tried to learn from many different bakers, and I'm sure like it changed, the piece of pie changed completely after that. So I'm really happy that this happened, and it was a learning experience for me. Also along with this, I realized that I also have a I also enjoyed, like the recipe things, and to to give your followers or your viewers something without which is just not related to orders. Like, I used to put out different recipe videos, different tips and tricks of for all the bakers, because you must know कि pandemic में तो bakers तो everybody were baking only. सब तो
That's true. That's totally true. I have seen a lot of people come up with different kinds of baking experiences or something like that.
so I am just happy that I could provide my tad contribution to
Okay.
that. So
That's that. So the pandemic was very positive rather than a negative thing for you. It
yeah,
helped you
totally.
grow. It helped you learn a
Hmm.
lot of things and obviously reconcile. This reconciliation gives me, makes me question this to you that don't you, sometimes think that you want to study more or something like that?
I miss studies because I have a nerdy side in me,
Yeah.
I'm sure. So I miss studies, I miss giving exams. I have forgotten कि exam देने वाला zeal क्या होता है. And so that way, yeah, I do. And I never say never. Maybe I'll be doing something like along
In
with piece of
future.
pie. हो सकता है. So
Okay. So yeah, I had a question from someone who asked me once. Like we just had a conversation, and they were like, "कि अगर ये चीज work out कर गया, the project that person was working on to earn money, a new business, and what if I can't study?" And that person was really studious, and that was the first time that person was going out of the circle of the comfort zone, and doing something different rather than studying. So
different.
that's why I asked you this question, because you told me that you were studious. You actually cleared 5 actuarial papers, and I know how actuaries are, how they study, what they have to put in. Plus, you just told me right now that there is always a nag in you to you miss the whole thing of giving
The
exams
zeal of
and being
studies,
that,
yes.
yeah, everything like that. So that's why I wanted to ask this question and know it from you, because my father always says tells me this, that education never stops. You can always
True.
study. There is always a time to study, but if you have that thing in you, you can even study after you're 50. So it's all on you how you go about it. So this actually answers a very different kinds of questions when if people have that inside their head. My next question to you is that I am a very big advocate or something like that, if for mental health. I really believe in it. I really talk to people about it. I
About it,
always
yeah.
try to know different articles or different things about mental health. I have a knack for it. I really like talking about it and really helping people. So I would really appreciate that, if you want to share something about how your mental health gets affected, about or the different kinds of demotivation or setbacks or some feedbacks affect you and how you cope up
Effective,
with those
yeah.
things.
See, like the good. This is where the positive part of doing what you love comes in question, because when you do something that you love, you get very protective about it, and it's very dear to you. That's why it will affect you more. But at the same time, if you know the key to cope it up, I think it makes sense as a whole. So half of my mental health and I got all my sanity back when I started doing something of my own, because I realized that I like to have things under my control. Like I just want to keep my life in track with my own hands. I can't deal with I'm sure you get me. So mental health in that sense, yeah, it's half of the battle is one there, but on a day-to-day basis, that's the reason that work is never a problem for me. There is no pressure of कि आज timing ज़्यादा है या I have to cater to more orders, so it will affect my mental health or it will affect my schedule. No, it's not like that. But like the entire food business, it's a very subjective topic. Like it depends on people to people. They have different tastes and different preferences, and so is their feedbacks. So when your work is your baby, like when you're so dear to your work and you're catering to something that is made by your own hands, of course the feedback affects you in a very strongly. Like if it's a nice feedback, it will make you so happy that it really makes your day better. But if it's a negative feedback, gradually you'll have to learn to adapt to it, but initially it gets difficult, it gets to your head, but I'm sure it's not something that nobody can cope up with. And if you're open to learn with it, it just happens with the flow. So with this you just have to differentiate between you just have to be sane enough to differentiate between what's a constructive criticism and what is something that people are just enjoying to be mean about. So when you can differentiate something like that, I think you can balance it pretty well. But again, I believe that half the battle is won when you're doing something that you love. Like maximum burden is off your head.
Shoulders.
So
Yeah, that I also agree. If you do something you love, and when anything that comes, you can actually cross that hurdle very easily, rather than being forceful or being
or burdened
depressed
with
about
it.
something.
Yeah.
That's true. So a very different question from the set of serious questions. What's your favorite flavor of the cakes or desserts that you make?
Honestly, I still don't know because I love fruit flavors, and but I have my days like
Very
some.
safe answer here. You don't know
No.
because you love all your flavors.
Not mine also, but generally. But people ask me like tell us your best, or but honestly I don't have any, and I'm providing whichever I think is the best. So yeah.
For you, everything is the best, I believe.
I think I'm a nice balance between fruit and chocolate. So if you combine them, it makes a nice option for me. I like a combination of chocolate and strawberry the most. Yes, I'm giving you an answer.
That's new for me. I have to try that because I haven't tried a fruit with chocolate. I've always seen people make something like that, and now you being a baker and experienced in it, you are, saying something. I'll surely try that. That's for sure.
No, like generally, like I used to be a chocolate person, but doing chocolate on a regular basis, it's not appetizing anymore. So
Okay, you have experimented with different kinds of flavors, right? With your own
yeah,
self. So
yes.
this was one of them, or this you knew from before?
Yeah, chocolate strawberry I knew from before. Then I'm trying chocolate raspberry, and then I'm trying raspberry with nuts like pistachios and almonds. Then
So
orange
that
with
works.
chocolate. So
These are the
yeah,
new things that you tried on.
yeah.
Okay. This thing I have seen with people that they are always confused about the price, because there are a lot of competitors around you. I know that I have been in Guwahati for a while, and I know that there are a lot of people who have started baking, as we just talked about, and they also have taken a lot of the market here and there, or a certain
Mm-hmm.
area where they get the orders from. So, what about the price? How do you balance it, and how do you know that this is the price that you want to take?
See, honestly, regarding the price, you can there are various ways to go about it. Like you can either be compared, like compare it with other bakers or other commercial bakers or shops, pastry shops, or you could price it on in your own manner. So I from the very beginning, when I came back from my course, I just knew that if I went on this comparative analysis, it's not going to work for me personally, because either it's going to be either it's going to be a compromise on the ingredients or in the profits or the earning. So on both the ends, I really can't afford to make any compromises. So I just from the very initial stage, I just had this thing in mind that I have to make my own prices and keep it in a manner that it doesn't really if gets affected with the pricing of all the other bakers, because that's how piece of pie would survive. Because initially you could do something, you could work on lesser profits, but as in when your
Later on, yeah.
business grows, you don't feel motivated enough to work for the same thing
Uh-huh.
that you're receiving, because it's not enough. It cannot be
That's
enough.
true.
Whatever that I provide, I just make sure that it's worth the uh, if
Uh,
if taste is not suiting them, if taste is a problem, then it's a very personal difference. But in terms of quality, in terms of ingredients, and in terms of hygiene and everything, I don't compromise on that grounds. So what happens is, जब अगर if you go for the comparative वाली चीज ना, then initially you'll be fine, but after that just to keep it at a particular cost, you'll definitely start compromising on your ingredients, and it'll come to you very very naturally. So I was very sure कि I don't want to go to that lane. At least I could have like 2 customers for starters, but I just want to make sure that they leave very happy.
from customers, I have this question from for you that did social media really, was the biggest influence or somewhere or the other, one of the biggest influence for you to grab more and more people, more and more, more and more customers?
Yeah, definitely, because Instagram is the face of my business. Like it's uh like virtually my business is totally on Instagram. So if someday Instagram decides to close all the business account, I'm sure so many of us would be jobless. But yeah, so that's the face of our business. And social media, it's really nice that it has come to a point that we are in a position to showcase our talent in a manner that people are actually enjoying to see it. And and there's a possibility to put it in a manner that they're willing to invest in it. So social media is playing a like greater
Very
role, like,
important. Yeah, yeah.
because
So right
not
now
just
it's really, it's like if we go around 10 years ago or 12 years ago, if someone started at that moment, that there would have been a lot of difficulties to cover the market, I guess. But right now
totally,
it's a bit,
because yeah,
it's easier.
also it's motivating people to do a lot more, because you can see what a baker in Mumbai is doing, you can see what a chef in Delhi is doing. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
get motivated seeing their work, you learn, and then you try to do the
to
same
apply it
thing.
to, yes.
Yeah, and that's how the trend wala cheese is happening, no? Like
Yeah,
trend in everything, like even in cakes we have a trend coming up now and then. So that's how it's
I guess
creating
the
the pinata one.
I,
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
like
pinata.
it.
You're not the only person who is saying me that you don't like it. I actually talked to one of my friends who had a birthday or something like that, and I asked her, "What about pinata cakes? Do you like it?" And she was like, "ये क्या नया चीज ले आया ये लोग पता नहीं खाली
It's
इसका ही
nothing.
इतना
There's
चल
no.
रहा है."
I mean, yeah, I'm sure
There's
like
nothing.
many
I
people
don't know
like
what
it,
they
but
eat.
there's.
I
Huh,
don't know what they
honestly,
eat.
in terms of what my job is concerned, to do, like in terms of providing a nice flavored cake and this thing. I don't think there's anything creative or very um, constructive involved in that. So in the taste point of view, I detest it.
I guess this is also a trend somewhere, and now this will also pass. A new trend will come up.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
I
whatever makes
haven't.
people happy.
This generation is about trend. I'm sure about it. There are so many different kinds of trends that are going on right now. Podcasting is a trend for me. It's
Trend,
trend for a
yeah,
lot of
definitely,
people.
yeah.
Different kinds,
So
settled people, settled actresses, settled
yeah,
YouTubers. Everyone have started podcasting and
doing
something like that.
something or the other, yeah. Social media has been not just for the bakers, but I think for most of the
Yeah, people who have
sectors.
started
it's
something.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a great opportunity.
That what about the balance of your personal and your private professional, like I mean personal and professional life? How do you cope with that? How do you take things like give your 100% here and there, or 50-50?
Mm, there are like two ways to go about this, because since my business face is on Instagram, and I really like to connect with all the people who provide at least some of their viewership to my business page, in terms of following or non-following or whatever. So who so in that sense, uh, I think and also like our I in the field that I am in, I I am the social media manager, my business manager. I am the person who talks to all the clients personally. I am the maker, and so everything is me. And this is a one hand conversation that's happening. So there are no two three connectors in between. So I think everything is um, personal and professional both at a certain level. Like, my customers know me personally, and then there's a bit of professionalism as well. So there's a very thin line between both of these.
Yeah,
But
both alive.
yeah, but I currently, that's how I'm liking it to be. I really like to connect with all the people on Instagram, and I like to show them them ki aaj chalo, this is happening in the kitchen, or this happened, or this did not happen. So that's a way of showing your personal views only. It's not completely professional ki you drop me a message, order
Yeah.
taken, payment done, you receive it. It's
Yeah.
not like that. We have to speak about it. We have to be open
Be
about it.
connected. Yeah.
So that way my job is very personal. And in regard to differentiate both, um, it's since everything is in my own hands, it's been pretty flexible, because as I said, like if I know that I can't, I have to block a certain date of a certain month, I can definitely block it and not take up orders for the particular time. I'm sure some amount of pre-planning is required, but that is possible. So
Okay.
it's
So
well
yeah,
balanced so far.
what I can take from here is that you had some problems before, but right now you're all okay with managing the personal and the professional life, as there is only a thin line that you have to manage.
In the sense that being an introvert, it was difficult, because it's a business such that you can't really keep it just professional. You have to make it personal at a certain level.
Time. Yeah, yeah.
So you just have to find your comfort in it, and I am not facing any problem about it. So
Okay.
yeah, going
So
on.
yeah, there's a growth in a certain way, in a certain
Yeah,
perspective.
definitely.
Uh, One piece of advice from Piece of Pie, for like from the founder of Piece of Pie, to the people who want to start something like a bakery or a cloud bakery or something, as such, as similar as this.
Normally I'd say that you should, like, keep going and not stop in between. But here I'd like to say one more thing, that I'd like to say that don't rush to start. But invest your proper time in the learning, because after that happens, you'll realize that there's been a vast difference. Generally, there are few people who might think that, chalo, I know how to make this cupcake, let's start with it and go with the flow. But currently the market is such that, and the need of the hour is such that, you if you come fully prepared, and if you learn, and if you invest your correct time and energy and everything to learn the basics properly, I think you're going to go a long way. So also it brings in a lot of confidence when you're well learned and well prepared, and then you begin something. On the go learning will happen lifetime. पूरे life में यही, there's no stopping. You'll have to learn every day, every month and every year. But don't just rush to start something new. Be well prepared and come with a very strong techniques and skills. It will take you a
Okay.
long way.
Lo- So wouldn't you say that people having creative mind, a creative mindset, have a greater hand in something like this?
It's a mixture of a lot of things. Like this field, it requires creative mind. It requires patience, a lot of patience. So if you can be creative, but if you don't have patience, you can't really survive this. You could be patient, but if you're not creative, you might not be able to deliver something very different again and again.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
it has to be a mixed bag of a lot of things. So yeah.
One, like, if you are comfortable sharing this thing with us or with the listeners, what kind of future does Piece of Pie have? Like, in your mind, what do you think? What can happen to Piece of Pie? What more can Piece of Pie be?
I am sure there is a lot of things to come, but each month or each week I am just contemplating and dreaming about new heights for Piece of Pie. So someday I would really want to have a patisserie. Someday I would want to have branches of those patisserie in different cities.
Nice.
But there are days when I just want to have my own workstation, and I just want to build a community by staying put. So a part of me also wants to be into teaching, like the baking school thing. So there are a lot of opportunities that I'm contemplating on currently, and I'm sure it will reach to one
So
of
that
these places
these places
some
fun, but
yeah, sometime.
that
But just working for now, making a better piece with what I have.
one day at a time, and the dream
Yeah,
is big,
because
but you're going to that journey. You're having that journey and having fun in that journey.
yeah, because honestly, Samit, what happens is with me, I realized after actual thing that if I stay stuck to a thing that I just want to achieve this, I'm sure jab tak I'll come to achieve this, something will go
Or
haywire or my interest will lose. Huh? So I have now known that I'm a person that keeps small things in mind, and I just don't realize that I'm going towards it. Like when I started with it, I really wanted to have a workstation of my own, but I did not really make it a benchmark कि मेरे को वहाँ तक तो जाना ही है, करना ही है. There wasn't a day that I used to be prepared कि एक साल बाद I'll be having my own workstation. ऐसा नहीं था. Gradually it happened, and it happened for good. So I just believe कि gradually it will go to places that I'm imagining, and अच्छा ही होगा.
yeah, I was about to ask you this question about the workstation and everything. You just answered the question. It's really nice. It's like the small achievements that you get, and you don't even think about it that much. That is the achievement that you want, but you gradually go for it and you get
Go
it.
for it,
That,
yeah.
that's nice. That's a motivating factor for anyone. I believe.
Definitely. When you also, I think you shouldn't. matlab, for me personally, it doesn't work like that. That um, if I wake up every day thinking about I have to reach to this level, I wouldn't do justice to all the things that I've done usse pehle. I think if it happens naturally, it brings you better happiness, and you feel better accomplished also.
जैसे कि अगर ये वीडियो में 1000 likes आ गया तो I'll be in a different
We
place.
wish. We
I
wish.
actually wish that. So, this question, I am going to ask this question to everyone with whom I'll have this conversation with. What kind of difference, what kind of, growing that you see, between if you compare the Neha when you started Piece of Pie or when you were in Delhi, just before the day you were coming here, and uh, Neha today, like Neha, the founder of Piece of Pie after 2 years.
In this regard, the things that have changed, I think the primary thing that has changed is that the inner me, it hasn't changed at all, because I was very ambitious then, and I still am, because I'm not complacent of what I've achieved, because I'm not satisfied with what I have currently. It is making uh, I just want to bring it to different heights, and I just want to take it forward. So the point has still not come that I'm settled, like, happy with chale ye ho gaya and we are done. It's not like that. So I think it has made me more ambitious this entire period of before and after, and I think I'm more I feel more responsible. पहले थोड़ा सा chill रहता था, even with the job, like, you never feel I never felt very connected to it, so I did not feel that kind of responsibility. The only kind of responsibility that I felt was to deliver what was given, and ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा डांट नहीं
उससे
पड़नी
ज्यादा
चाहिए.
नहीं कर भाई, उससे ज्यादा
हाँ.
का नहीं आता था. अब
हाँ.
आप ambitious हो गए हो and you know new
What is
things, you
happening
want
to the
new things.
company, or what is happening to where I used to work, it never used to matter to me like that. I did not take the burden home, but here I feel a lot more responsible, and when you get a tiny bit of achievement or accomplishment, you feel very very confident. Like it brings in a lot of confidence in you, and there's a sense of self-belief that comes with it, and I think these are the two things that requires to be ambitious. तो ये दोनों चीज ज्यादा आने से I
साथ में,
think
हाँ.
the ambition is just growing. So I feel I have become more ambitious after that, more confident and more responsible as a person. Also, I was very introvert, so थोड़ा भी वो वाला side
वो
भी it's
आप
opening up,
yes.
because
Okay.
चाहो ना चाहो, you have to interact with your clients, you have to take up the orders. So I have started to enjoy that.
So, I guess I can also add one point for you that you have become financially independent right now. You are
Yeah.
independent. That's a
True.
very, different factor altogether, but it's also motivating, I
Yeah,
guess.
like, to be honest, that was the goal. That is why it doesn't feel like a difference in that sense.
So
But
there are, check boxes that you are just ticking one after the other and one after the other.
I am just glad that it's happening naturally. अगर वो
Happening.
list
Yeah.
होगा ना मेरे पास, तो I'll be very anxious about it कि ये हो नहीं रहा है, ये बाकी है.
तो patience level थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ा जाए
हाँ
and
हाँ.
it will be difficult. Yeah, I get that. It's actually it's good to have that natural flow of positive things coming in your life. बहुत rarely किसी पे ऐसा होता है. जैसे you are really calm, you are really composed right now. If I'm talking to you, and I can see that level of patience that you have. Because I believe कि अगर केक किसी से mess up हो गया है, you're baking a cake and you don't have patience, I don't know that person क्या करेगा क्या नहीं. if I was there and I don't have patience to work on that, I would have just smashed it. That कहीं पे तो मार देता ऐसा गुस्सा रहेगा. But you, to be composed is a thing where you have that positivity inside.
And
I
you can
believe
find your
that.
sanity. Yeah. So I think such a few things from these, it comes with the sense of responsibility that comes with all the financial independence and other independence, जो ये पूरा जो ये है पूरा पैकेज के साथ आता है कि रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी के साथ you have to be calm, you have to be very, you know, I don't know, I think I just hope it happens naturally to everybody, but I'm glad कि
कि आपके साथ
I'm in a
naturally हो
position
रहा
to
है जो हो रहा
perceive it. हाँ.
है. हाँ, काफी लोग के साथ ऐसा होता है, काफी के साथ नहीं. My main motive to do this whole thing is that yes, I believe and I really know that somewhere there are some people who are when you were at the start, वो लोग कोई वहां पे होगा. If you were in the middle, वो लोग कहीं वहां पे होगा. And where you are right now, वो लोग कहीं यहाँ पे होगा. Or somewhere also in the between, So I really want people to understand this fact that you can actually make something out of
जी.
your hobby. क्योंकि काफी 10 साल पहले अगर हम देखता तो I wouldn't see or say that there are a lot of people who bake, or there are a lot of, we actually come up from a very small city as well who is growing gradually, but अब हम देख रहे हैं तो हाँ, there are a lot of people who are trying to make something out of their hobbies, but वो लोग अटक
But
जाते हैं.
sometimes, Samat, I realize that people don't even recognize what their hobby is. Like, they fail to realize what they are actually
Yeah,
liking. So
yeah,
I think unless you keep doing new and new things, like I'll quote an example. I remember taking some very very small cake class in Guwahati only. I think it was in class 9 or 10 or something. It was a break, some kind of summer vacation or something, and me and one of my friends, we just took the I just liked the idea of baking, so I just went ahead and took this small class. So, and that one class is the reason that I am
that
here
you,
today, because that was the time I realized that I like to bake. So I think when and उससे पहले if anybody asked me, like even after that, कि what are your hobbies, कभी भी उसमें baking या baking वाला part नहीं आता था, because people generally tend to think कि no, dancing, singing, playing guitar और
हाँ 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 हाँ
all the cliche ones जो बचपन से सिखाया गया है कि वही hobbies. If you actually give time, like even you, like if you are doing this podcast, you must never have thought कि I like hobbies में I like to talk वाला तो नहीं होता होगा ना. I like to talk to different people. So you just have to identify what is there in you that you like.
वही एक ये हॉबी पता होना भी इट्स वेरी इम्पोर्टेंट. इट्स नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट लाइक ये चीज जरूरी नहीं है कि लाइक आई लाइक singing or I like dancing, that's the hobby I want to go for. Even there can be another hobby that you love, you aspire and you want to go for, और कहीं ना कहीं that works out greatly. So that is also a thing. And I guess luck is also a factor. आप बोलेगा कि please.
हाँ, मेरे को तो ऐसा लगता है कि मतलब God really planned out everything for me, and because वो first वाला जो probation वाली internship वाला चीज था, if that wouldn't have happened and I would have gotten like a complete पूरा job starting से, I wouldn't have been in a position to leave it as easily. वो मेरे पास ऑप्शन था कि आफ्टर 6 months I could either be permanent or I could leave it. So that's when I decided कि छोड़ देते हैं. तो it has happened step by step. सब मतलब अब हो गया तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि it's planned. Maybe होता नहीं होता naturally. You don't know. हाँ, you don't know.
हाँ, ये तो है कि it's the God's plan, as it said कि हाँ सब कुछ भगवान के हिसाब से होता है. But मेहनत, the work that you do, the hard work that you do, that is also important. I don't, luck and hard work goes hand in hand. I believe in that.
hard you have not just in my field or any field. I think working hard is utterly important. Like if you don't keep working hard on whatever you're doing, you'll never find success. As I said, many people, they start their ventures and they stop in between because they don't think, या तो they are not providing enough work, or if
Work.
I don't know what is wrong, but most cases में यही होता है कि they don't tend to provide the work it requires. तो
और
वो
give up कर देते हैं.
हाँ.
The give up phase comes fast. That is one thing. Yes, I also agree. So I have two questions for you. The last two questions. You just have to mark it from 1 to 10. ठीक है? 1 to 10. 10 being the highest. So from 1 to 10, what will you mark if I ask you how happy you are right now with where you are?
I think I am somewhere around 8 or 9. I'd say that happy. Actually, I am happy 10 only, pura. If you say how satisfied you are, that could be a 8 or 9. But happy, I am pura 10.
Oh, nice. That's great. And the second one is, how fun was this recording for you?
A lot. Like interacting before this also, it was so good, and aaj bhi it was very nice. I really want to tell you that you're doing such a nice thing, and
Thank you so much.
I know you from before, so I feel really happy and proud ki
You are a senior for me from my old school. And
that
yeah, I actually
that I
know you
am
from there only. And we started, I guess we interacted once or twice when we were coming back from school. And after that, when I came to know about that
please, we
Neha
used
Di
to
has,
हाँ प्लीज
we
हाँ
talk
एवरी
that
डे
much.
डाउन बस में वी यूज्ड टू टॉक ओनली. ऐसा कुछ नहीं था एक बार या दो बार.
But when I came to know that, Neha Di has started something like a bakery and it's named Piece of Pie, I was attracted to the, whole name first of all. And it was really nice to see that someone is doing something out of the box. You were one of the first persons or first seniors that I have seen, who has done something out of the box.
Thank you
I
so
have
much.
people who have started right now to do something like that, but at that moment when when I just started my college, I was in second year, I guess, when you started the whole thing. I was very happy that somebody I know or somebody I used to talk to or somewhere I knew that person has started something like this. It is really nice. So I really
Thank you.
congratulate for this, and I really wish you a lot of success for the whole thing.
Thank you so much, Samat, and I just hope your podcast is a success. And
I hope that too.
I see that you're really passionate about it, and it takes you somewhere really nice.
I thank you so much. I really hope that this works out, and I really hope this whole episode was really, that there is too much really that I'm saying, but I I hope the whole episode was informative for people. It was really helping for people, and people liked it. So thank you so much, Nehadi, for being in this episode. It was really nice to
Thank you so
have
much,
you.
Samat. Likewise, I had a great time speaking to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you everyone.
So guys, if you enjoyed this episode, do not forget to like and comment. Do share this episode with as many people as you can. And before you go, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for staying tuned. Next episode next Saturday.